I got to process this one. I got to tell you, because I think in some sense maybe we should get used to it. While Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and JT Realmuto are on the shelf, they are failing to get runs. And Ben Davis, Michael Barkamp, Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. You kind of thought that after the 8th inning, when you had Bohm and Castellanos, and I forget who else was up there, that when they missed that shot in the 8th, you run Pache, Sosa, Marchand with Rojas on deck is going to be a tough call to get a run in the 9th inning.
Yeah, that was some tough sledding there for the Phils, and you got to give credit to the Marlins bullpen. I thought they did a phenomenal job today of keeping Phillies hitters at bay. They mixed and matched fastball with their off-speed pitches, and they kept the ball in the yard. So this is a ball club that, again, these guys are irreplaceable. You cannot replace JT. You can't replace Bryce or Kyle Schwarber. So they're going to have to find some ways to manufacture runs, whether that be stealing bases, bunting guys over. They're just not going to be able to rely on these big boppers to hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's not going to be their MO moving forward while these guys are on the IL. Same time, schedule just keeps on coming day after day. Let's check in with John Kruk at the ballpark, called today's game with Tom McCarthy. And John, we talk about the depth of this bench. We talk about them being able to get hits and runs in the absence of the 3 stars we just talked about. And it was a struggle today as Aaron Nola pitched pretty good. What'd you make of this game?
I heard Ben say lack of execution. When you're I don't want to say a diminished lineup, but when you're two big boppers are out of the lineup, and then of course throw JT in there also, you have to manufacture, you have to situational hit, move runners, put runners in motion, try to open up some holes, and they just didn't get enough guys on today to really do that. It was. I hope this isn't what we're going to see moving on without Bryce and without Kyle in the lineup. But it's tough to replace those 2 guys, and that next man up thing's, that's a great thing. But the guys still have to produce that are out here that are active. They have to come through.
Johnny, another really good outing by Aaron Nola today. 6 2/3, 100 pitches, 71% strikes. He was outstanding, but just did get that run support. What do you see out of him, especially this year, that has made him so successful?
His breaking ball's good, Ben. It's always good, but what I've noticed, like if he throws ball 1, he can flip that breaking ball in there just to get back in the count. And then when he needs a strikeout with it, he can throw that thing so it looks like a strike for such a long way and go out of the zone. His command is always impeccable, but I just think he seems like he's so relaxed, and I don't know if it's because he got the contract done and he doesn't have to worry about that anymore, or whatever the reason. He's just being Aaron, in my opinion. I think he's a top-notch major league pitcher, and like you said, he pitched great today. He had every chance to win this game, but they just couldn't get nothing going offensively for him.
Yeah, and I fear that that's going to be the case with guys out. Although, John, they are 9 wins, 10 losses since that first win against the Mets at London, and that's with Harper in the lineup at the time. He was about to head out, and Kyle Schwarber. So it's kind of been a mixed bag over the last 19, now going on 20 games or so, which is a struggle. Today reminded me a little bit of Thursday night when Wheeler failed to shut the door. Nola was in the same situation. Yeah. What is it about that where you really got to bear down, and it's a struggle to do it?
Yeah, he just missed his location on the double by Fortes that put the Marlins ahead or tied the game. It was a fastball or 2-seamer, sinker, whatever, and it just leaked back out over. It came back over the center of the plate, and Fortes just did what he's supposed to do with that pitch. He hit it hard somewhere, and he found the line and easily scored Lopez. But look. I don't think you have to worry. The thing that with this, you said they've lost 9 or 9 out of 10 or whatever.
9 and 10.
The thing is that the starting pitching can carry them, and at some points in this year it has carried them for the most part. Like I said though, it's just you might have to start getting creative offensively. with putting guys in motion, opening up holes, maybe sacrifice bunt, whatever you have to do to get more guys in scoring position, because right now we're not doing anything with runners in scoring position.
Johnny, are you a little concerned, just a little bit, that guys I saw like Alec Boehm today, thought he had some good pitches to hit, didn't hit him. He did have an RBI today, but had a grimace of frustration on his face. Are you worried that some of these guys might be trying too hard with the absence of Schwarber and Harper?
Yeah, that's always a concern. And when you lose your two big guys in the lineup, everyone says, well, someone's going to have to just pick up the slack. Well, you don't pick up the slack. That's why I think that WAR thing is probably the dumbest stat I've ever heard. Wins above replacement. Well, hell yeah, Bryce Harper's better than any replacement. And Kyle Schwarber's better than any replacement. And that's what I don't get. But you can't, if you're not a big home run hitter, you can't try to hit home runs just because Kyle and Bryce are out of the lineup. You have to be more of yourself than you've ever been before. And with Alec, it's been consistent, great swings, hitting the ball at all fields, not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and that's Alec Boehm's game. And, I don't know if it's, I don't know if they're like, look, we have to start hitting home runs now. No, just be yourselves. That's it was good enough to get you this big lead, and it should be good enough to maintain this lead until these guys come back.
I'm with you, John, but this is where I bring up the question about down the road, and we were talking about it in pregame and last night, and Ben's like, you got to look at what's ahead of you. You got to look at today's game. And while I understand that, they are going to go to Wrigley. They've got a winning record, the Cubs. Then they go to Atlanta. The first time they're at Atlanta this season. They got the Dodgers coming in. So there are teams that are a heck of a lot better than the Miami Marlins they got to contend with, even though they got to take the last one tomorrow against Miami. Are you concerned at all about the magnitude of the schedule growing?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's never an opportune time for Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber to go down to injury on the same day with the teams that they're getting ready to play. Look, you'd love to be at full strength against the Dodgers. But here's the thing. The Dodgers aren't going to be at full strength either. I don't know if Mookie Betts is back yet. He was off to an unbelievable MVP start to his season before he went down with an injury. Teams are beat up this time of year, and so I'll just keep going back to this. You can't replace Bryce and Kyle. You just can't. Not unless you trade for Ohtani or someone like that, but I don't think he's available right now. You have to just stay what you are. You have to remember what you are as a hitter, as a pitcher, and everything else. You just have to be what you are. You can't be more than what you are. If it was good enough to get you here and it's good enough to keep you here, it's good enough when the guys are out with injuries.
By the way, Mookie's got a fractured left hand. He is expected to be out when the Dodgers and Phillies play. There is an expectation, at least by the fans, I would think, John, that the Phillies nonetheless can handle the lowly Marlins team. Is that misplaced? Should we not expect that they could still sweep a team out of here? They're obviously not going to do that, but should they be able to do it in their current situation?
Well, when you look at the records of the two teams, you would think that the Phillies should be able to handle the Marlins. But, historically, the Marlins have played really well against the Phillies. And, if you're a team with a bad record, a poor record like the Miami Marlins are, and you come into a series and after the first game of the series they lose Harper and Schwarber, you got to be confident playing against the Phillies, regardless of who's pitching for them, that they don't have those two big guys in line. If you're a Marlins pitcher, are you giddy, slapping each other in the back like, dang, we ain't got to face Schwarber or Harper no more this series? Their confidence has to be through the roof just because of those two guys being out of the lineup. Now it's up to the Phillies to do something about that, and that is just focus on tomorrow and win tomorrow. I
hope so. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
I do too.
Me too. You got it. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Johnny.
And he allows a run today. Obviously, he's still a great pitcher, but certainly going through a little dry patch here.
Yeah, as you look at the numbers on Aaron today, no walks. No walks. 9 punch-outs. I told you the 71% strike rate. That is putting the hitter on the defensive right away. But getting back to Strahm, Jazz Chisholm had been 0 for 8 against Matt Strahm with 5 strikeouts. Sometimes a guy is just due off you. Sometimes you just do. So it's the way it is. It's the way baseball is. And he left a pitch elevated in the middle of the plate. Chisholm took advantage of it and played it Fortes.
Plus, you hit him on the hand like he did the other night, maybe gets him mad.
Yeah, good.
You know, maybe he digs in just a little bit more. Let's hear from the manager, Rob Thomson, on tonight's loss.
Yeah, we didn't have many chances. 8 base runners, you're probably not going to score many runs. So we got to get on base. We got to, take our base hits, try not to do too much, and eventually, you're going to score.
We talked about the 3 guys that are missing, so that's a big deal. Now, is that a concern for you moving forward?
Well, you can't do anything about it. It's out of our control. So, but the guys that are here are more than capable of creating runs. So, they just got to stay within themselves and do what they can do. Well, the guy today we'd never seen before, so that can make it a little bit tough. But I think guys maybe try to do a little bit too much right now. So. They just got to relax and be themselves and get good at bats.
Everything good with stuff such as the game situation.
Yeah.
Is that something you might do moving forward here without a clear catcher out?
Possibly, but you got to be careful. You can't do it too early in the game, and the 7th for me is actually a little bit early than I'd like to, but I thought we'd try to change the momentum right there. The contact play wasn't on. Yeah, so he was in a read, and I don't think he saw the ball initially pop out of his glove. And then he tried to get going, but then it was too late.
He ended up scoring on the side plot. Did you feel like Rojas could have scored on the single stop?
No, because he froze. It was a low line drive, so he froze, and when he froze, there wasn't a chance. I thought he was great. The command was great. 2 pitches, really. The fastball to Gordon leaked back over the plate, and the 3-2 fastball to Fortes leaked back over the plate. So, and same thing with Strami. Strami's our top guy with inherited runners, and just the last couple of nights he's just missing locations.
Any thought to keep him in there against Jazz based on how he handled it?
Not really, because again. You take away the other night, and Strami's our best guy with inherited runners, left-handed or right-handed. And Nola was at 100 pitches, and it was hot, and he was he was a little bit gassed, I thought.
There were a lot of reasons to stick with him to face Fortes. How did you prioritize those reasons?
Well, first of all, if there were 2 runners on and we're getting to Fortes, I probably would have gone to Strom. But once there was 2 out, and at Fortes, I thought, well, we'll leave him in there. He's handled them all day, and I thought, even though he was a little bit tired and he was at 100 pitches or close to it, I thought that he was going to be able to handle them. Unfortunately, I can't predict the future.
How big has stuff been for you guys lately? 9 hits in his last 10 games.
Yeah, both those guys have really played well. They really have. Marchand will catch tomorrow with Ranger, but Stubby and Marchand, they've carried the load very, very well, and I'm impressed with both of them.
How do you like Stott's approach? Lead off by
Yeah. Using the field, hitting the ball the other way on a line, not fly ball the other way. So it looks like he's getting a stroke back. Thank you.
When you look at this lineup and you hear Rob Thomson say, look, it's out of our control, but the guys who are here are more than capable of creating runs. They got to stay within themselves, do what they can do. A guy today we have never seen before. That could make it a little bit tough. Guys are trying to do too much. Be themselves, get good at bats, Ben. That's not what happened today on several occasions.
You could see it in their plate appearances and just their their body language. They were frustrated and just trying to do too much. And I think it was very recognizable by Rob Thomson to notice that. You can see it. There just wasn't a relaxed group at home plate today.
Yeah, and I thought in particular, Alec Boehm, that last at bat, he got very frustrated. And here's a guy who had been slumping, came back out of it and said, I just really helped myself by realizing I'm going into a slump. I'm going to come out of it.
Right.
And that helped me get out of it. It looks like he's frustrated again.
Without a doubt. He is a little frustrated. And again, he thinks he had some pitches that he thought he could hit today, could handle, and maybe even drive out of the ballpark. It didn't happen. He was 0 for 2 with a sac fly. But noticing these at-bats today makes me think of that old expression. If you make every at-bat a life and death situation, you're going to be dead a lot.
Yeah.
So again, easier said than done, but this is a lineup that have to find other ways to score.
All right.
Plain and simple.
Aaron Nola looking for his 100th win, fails to get it. Instead picks up his 4th loss of the season. Here he is in the clubhouse.
What's your overall assessment for today?
Felt good, man. I mean, I left a bad cutter early on to Gordon. He hit out, and the 7th inning. Just made some bad pitches. I didn't want to walk Fortes right there, and challenge him, put a good swing on it, and then Lopez, I threw a bad cutter to him right there and hit that ball down the line. So tough one, man, tough loss, but overall felt pretty good.
Go ahead. I know the objective is always to limit the opposition and not give up anything, but when you're missing Harper, Schwarber, Muto, does any extra pressure fall to the pitching staff in that spot to be a little more perfect?
No. I mean, we take every game the same, no matter what the lineup is. Obviously, it sucks to not have those guys in the lineup, and we're kind of lucky that it's happening right now, so those guys can get back and hopefully before the All-Star break and right after the All-Star break. So. I mean, for us, for a starting staff, we take the ball every time we need to, and we try to limit the damage and limit the runs every single time, no matter what the lineup is. That goes for if it's a 0-0 ball game, or we put up a lot of runs. We still try to give up nothing. So the mindset doesn't change.
How do you assess your season so far
overall? I mean, pretty good. I mean, I've had some. Two games that really have hurt me. Overall, I feel like a little more consistent, and past few games kind of limited the walks and just getting early outs and getting ahead of guys, which has helped. So I'm going to try to keep doing that and stick on my routine and have a good work week going next outing.
Has the pitch clock just become like second nature to you now?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Yeah, I guess. I mean, some days it's harder, right? I mean, obviously, like days like Boston, it's harder because I'm running all over the place and balls are going everywhere. So it feels a little faster just because there's a lot more going on. Definitely don't want those days, but I mean, there's times that obviously it's it's still fast, hot outside. But I mean, we've become accustomed to it, which we have to, right? And I'm glad we've kind of pushed last year aside to get it under our belt and just kind of figure out where we need to be with it, and get a feel for not having to look at it all the time. So I feel like that's where I'm at right now.